These Rock Band downloadable content reviews are done by Xygni and FinishedCookie. Good times roll! Good Times Roll isn't really a bad song, but it's not really a good song either. It's not that boring, but it's really not that fun. The solo is not as good as the other Cars solos, and there's this little fast riff that gets annoying after a while. So I'm going to give this song a 4.5.
Good Times Roll is boring. It's really boring. And the only interesting part is the beginning with the drum that goes toom, toom. And that's not even that interesting. It sounds weird. So I wouldn't recommend this to anybody who's getting it for drums. I'd give it a 1.
My best friends! My Best Friend's Girl is probably my favorite song in this whole album, just because there's so many different parts to this song. It's not boring at all. And there's also like this solo that confuses me, but it's a challenge, so I'm going to give it an 8.5.
My Best Friend's Girl is another really boring drum song. The only thing that's a little bit better than Good Times Roll is that there's a couple of kind of fun drum rolls in it. But other than that, it's about the same exact thing. So I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Just what I needed.
I can't really say anything bad about Just What I Needed because I really loved the song, and I mean it has a really cool solo, and just the guitar itself in this song is really cool. But it does kind of remind me of Boston in a way that they put the hammer-on pull-off patterns that was in almost every Boston song, and you did play a little synthesizer like you did in Smokin', but in Just What I Needed they made it sound a little more like a guitar and not a synthesizer, which I thought was really nice. So I'm gonna give this song a 7.5.
Everybody knows this song, even if you've like heard it since the 70s or you just heard it on a Circuit City commercial a year ago, you should probably get this song. The drums aren't that great, but they're better than the other two songs, or the last two songs, so I'm going to give it a 3.
I'm in touch with your world. I'm in Touch with Your World is probably the weirdest song ever put on Rock Band. And I don't know, it was fun in some places. In other places, it was just kind of got old after a while. But the solo was really great, and there's this part after the solo, which was pretty crazy. But it probably should have been in the solo, but it wasn't, which is weird. Anyway, I'm going to give this a 5.5.
I'm in Touch with Your World was probably my favorite drum song this week, and it's not the hardest, and it's not very challenging, but it's different, and it's really weird. And if you like that kind of thing, definitely pick this one up. I'm going to give it a 6.
Don't cha stop.
Don't You Stop is actually probably one of my favorite songs that came out on the Cars album this week. It's actually a challenge, and it's really fast tempo, and there's 2 solos in it, which the second solo is really fun to play. So I'm going to give this song an 8.
Overall, this album is repetitive on drums, and Don't You Stop is no exception, really. But it is different than what you see in most of the other songs, so that's a little bit better. And there's this weird section that goes bloom, 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 bloom. That's kind of fun. So I'm going to give it a 5.
You're all I've got tonight.
You're All I've Got Tonight is another really fun song, and it's also kind of a challenge. There's two solos in this song that kind of level each other out. The first one isn't really that hard, but the second one is, and so, you know. There's also like this long strand of orange blue notes that I can never get, and it just, you know, it makes me depressed. But I'm still going to give this song an 8.
You're All I've Got Tonight is again very repetitive, but it's repetitive in a way that'll probably break your bass pedal. There's a lot of bass pedal in this song compared to the other songs, and it's a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Bye, bye, love.
I liked Bye Bye Love on guitar. Some people might think different because it was kind of repetitive, but it wasn't all repetitive. I mean, and the solo was really fun. It was probably my favorite solo on the Cars album. And then they do this doohickey at the end that's enjoyable. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
There's really nothing good to say about Bye Bye Love on drums. It's repetitive. There's lame little half-assed drum rolls that go like 3 notes instead of like an actual roll. So I'm gonna give it a 1.
Moving in the stereo.
Moving in Stereo was probably my least favorite guitar song from the whole Cars album, just because it was just really boring to me. They just did the same thing over and over again, and the beat was really, really slow on guitar. And with the solo, you just played the synthesizers. It's kind of lame. So I'm just going to give it a 3.
Moving in Stereo is probably my second favorite song on this whole album to listen to, but it's not that great to play on drums. Again, it's pretty repetitive, and there's a couple of really cool little drum fills, so I'm going to give it a 2.5, just because that makes it a little less boring.
Cactus.
All Mixed Up started out as an enjoyable song, and I really had nothing wrong with it until the end, where you just do like the same thing for 2 minutes, and it was kind of disappointing because it just really got on my nerves. And so I'm just gonna give this song a 6.
All Mixed Up is another weird drum song, but it's not awesome weird like I'm in Touch with Your World. It's just kind of like, you'll probably find yourself saying, what the hell is this? Especially at the beginning, which is a really strange beginning. It's not fun to play. Again, there aren't that many fun drum songs on this album, so I'm going to give this a 2. The top 3 guitar songs this week are Best Friend's Girl, Don't You Stop, and You're All I've Got Tonight. So if you play the guitar, you should probably pick these 3 up, if any. The whole album is pretty good for guitar, though. On the other hand, the drums are overall pretty repetitive. The best songs would probably be In Touch with Your World, Just What I Needed, and Don't You Stop. And overall, the best 3 songs to download would be Don't You Stop, Best Friend's Girl, and Just What I Needed. All 3 are fun enough on both instruments, especially guitar, and they would all be really good for party songs, definitely. Just What I Needed is also, on a side note, really fun on vocals, so yeah.
No one to you.